You know, every single meal you eat, every snack, every drink, it's all the final chapter of this massive, incredibly complex story. And today, we're going right back to the beginning of that story, farming. It's literally the engine that feeds all of us, so let's get into it and see how it really works.
Seriously, just for a second, think about it. That banana you had for breakfast, or the cheese on your pizza, where did it actually come from? What was its journey? Well, that's exactly the path we're going to follow today.
Okay, so the journey for pretty much everything we eat kicks off at the very same place. It all begins with farming. And farming is what's called a primary economic industry. That just means it's right at the foundation of our economy. It's all about taking things directly from the earth.
So, when we use that word, farming, what are we actually talking about? Let's break it down to the absolute basics. At its very core, farming really just boils down to two big things: growing crops and raising animals. I mean, that's it. That simple split is the starting point for almost everything we eat, from the wheat that becomes our bread to the cows that give us milk. It's the two main paths that define the whole industry.
But of course, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. Farming is generally broken down into three main blueprints, and each one has a totally different focus.
First up, you've got arable farming. This is all about the plants. Think massive fields of corn, wheat, vegetables, you name it. Then you have pastoral farming, which is the total opposite. It's focused completely on raising animals, like cattle or sheep. And finally, you have mixed farming, which, you guessed it, does both. This last one is super common actually, because it lets farmers create a more balanced system right there on one farm.
But you can't just pick a type and start digging. Nope. A farm's success depends on this whole mix of different variables. Let's call them the X factors. These are the things that really decide if a farm is going to succeed or fail.
And we can split all these factors into two major buckets. On one side, you've got the stuff we can't control, the physical factors, basically Mother Nature. And on the other side, you've got the human factors, the things that are up to us. Let's take a look at both.
Okay, first, the physical stuff. Climate is obviously a huge one, right? You need that perfect mix of rain and sun. Then there's the soil itself. If it doesn't have the right nutrients, nothing's going to grow. And here's one you might not think about: the relief, which is just the shape of the land. I mean, trying to drive a giant combine harvester on the side of a steep hill? Not going to happen. So flat land is a big plus.
Now for the human side of things. You can have the world's best climate and soil, but without money or capital, you can't buy seeds, machinery, or anything else. And without good transportation, your perfect crops will just rot in a field because you can't get them to the stores. But maybe most important of all is market demand. If nobody wants to buy what you're growing, well, then your farm isn't going to last very long.
So you see how we've built this incredible, efficient system to produce as much food as possible. But all that efficiency has come with a pretty big price tag, a serious environmental one.
And that brings us to the hidden cost of our food system, the toll that modern farming can take on the environment. Let's start with pesticides. They're amazing at what they do, protecting crops from bugs. But the problem is, they don't just target the bad bugs. By wiping out huge populations of insects, they can pull the rug out from under the entire food chain, getting rid of the main food source for birds and other animals and causing a ripple effect through the whole ecosystem.
And then there are fertilizers. They're designed to supercharge the soil with nutrients so crops grow faster. But when it rains, the leftover fertilizer often gets washed into rivers, and that's where the disaster starts. Those extra nutrients cause a massive explosion of algae that covers the water, blocking sunlight and sucking all the oxygen out. And when that happens, fish and other aquatic life, they just can't survive.
So it's pretty clear the way we grow our food has a huge impact on the planet. And all this leads to a really important question that a lot of people are asking now. What exactly is organic food, and is it really the answer to making farming more environmentally friendly? It's something we really have to think about.